Should we just roll with it?
Let's do it.
Winging it.
Immediate.
Would you listen?
Coming to you from the land next to the land of 10,000 lakes, it is Fargo's Subversive Entertainment Podcast, the Trigger Warning Fun Time Show. I am one of several hosts. My name is Scratch Masterson.
I'm Superfan Ozzy.
And I'm Babyface Nelson.
Jackson A. Spade, Esquire.
It is Father's Day. Britta is not with us today, but I want to talk about something in particular. I think we should have a stripped-down movie nerd-out podcast today. And more particularly, I want to talk about something that I've experienced when I've gone to movies with you guys or discussed movies with you guys lately.
Okay.
All right.
I think I'm a pretty particular, pretty opinionated film fan, and you say, Scratch, you like sucky B movies. But I like a very particular type of sucky B movie, and I think the biggest sin that a movie can commit is not entertaining you. If I'm bored watching a movie, And like the cheapest B movie, trauma movies in particular, can show me something I have never seen before, and I might be disgusted by it, but I'm never bored. And yet some big budget movies sometimes I'll watch and be kind of bored with. But I think right now we're luckier than we have ever been, where there's all these genre movies coming out, superhero movies. There's new Ghostbusters on the way. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was just out. And yet, after these movies are over, a lot of times I think, I was pretty entertained, and I'll look over at Babyface and he'll be kind of shrugging like, and Superfan Ozzy, same thing. I don't know. Or I'll discuss it with you and you'll say, there's these particular plot points they kind of screwed up. Do you think since Hollywood has given the nerds everything they want right now, have you become more jaded or picky, or is there something that they're screwing up in some of these movies? What is it exactly?
I think we just have such high expectations for these movies, and they come out and they're wonderful movies, and there's a lot of action, and storylines for the most part are good. It's just you always expect more and build it up more in your head. Then when it comes out, you're a little let down, I think.
Here's my opinion. So you can hire a company to come and landscape your lawn, right? And you expect a certain level of niceness, right? But when you look at it and you say, I could have grabbed a shovel and a wheelbarrow and I could have done a better job. That's what I'm walking into in a lot of these movies.
Oh, so you could have written or directed a better Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
In 5 hours, I could have done it. If you gave me a room with a pen and a piece of paper, one piece of paper, I could have come up with a better movie than Turtles 2.
And in 5 hours, I could have come up with a better movie than Batman v Superman.
Ooh, score.
In fact, I went home after Batman v Superman, took my Batman and Superman action figures, and acted out a better movie than Batman v Superman.
I would watch that on YouTube.
It's on there right now.
Any dream sequences?
No dream sequences.
Good.
Martha was not mentioned once. And that to me is kind of the my problem. Like, you had these two iconic characters who alone, Batman and Superman, should have made $2 billion for the first time that these characters ever got together in a movie, and that's kind of what we saw. So that's where my kind of nerd rage comes from. But I think for the most part, I'm kind of happy with most of the stuff that comes out. But in the era that we are in, where we have, like the ever-expanding Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now Transformers, I know you guys are going to probably hate on that, but Transformers wants to do like the expanded universe, where all of these things are happening. You should really have like almost a higher standard to your movie, because you know what's come before it. Don't try to go backwards, try to go forward.
I feel like the latest X-Men that came out, when it was done, I thought, that was awesome. That was a good flick. And wouldn't 15-year-old Jack Spade have said that was a dynamite X-Men movie?
Probably, had no other X-Men movies come before that. And that's what I mean by going forward.
So you're
to me,
spoiled, though.
I'm not spoiled. I mean, it was definitely better than X-Men: The Last Stand.
So that to me is a good point that you're making, because we are so spoiled nowadays with movies, because not only are you saying, was this a good X-Men movie? It's like, is this a good X-Men movie compared to the other, 8 X-Men movies that are out there in the world right now? And that, to me, is what's the most interesting, is because you can say, like you went and you had a great time at X-Men Apocalypse. I enjoyed it for what it was worth. I thought, well, they kind of didn't use Olivia Munn to do anything in this movie other than look like Olivia Munn. But I enjoyed it. Did I enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Days of Futures Past? Absolutely not. In fact, I rewatched that movie just last night, and I said it's because they really embraced the 1970s as part of it, with cutting to like the old film stock and the look and everything.
That was fun.
And really, you didn't get that at all with this last one, with the exception of a couple little tiny music cues. You wouldn't really know that it's the 80s, and they could have really had fun with that.
Agreed.
Do you think that maybe these movies are coming too fast? And
Yes.
They're back up on top of each other so quick you don't have time to forget the last one before the next one comes out?
I think
And
that's probably
you're holding your expectation to the last one.
They're all, I mean, you gotta put your genitals on the table sometimes, right?
Like right now?
Like right
Okay,
now.
hang on. Hold on. Get this out here.
Hey, zip that back up.
Sorry.
But that's like what Fox is doing with those X-Men, because they said we don't want to be forgotten.
Right.
We want to get something out there. And same thing with like Warner Brothers. They're like, we need to make money off of this stuff. How can we make the most money we can? Because Disney seems to be raking it in. The difference here is Disney let the people who are passionate about those comic books and those franchises take the reins for them. And you look at the Russo brothers. I loved Civil War, and I loved Winter Soldier, and I am so excited to see what they're going to do.
And maybe
with the
Civil
Infinity
War
Gauntlet.
was that much better since you watched it right after Batman versus Superman. It came out. It's like,
Yeah,
this is how you do it.
That it definitely.
That's how you do it. And yet at the
cleansed
same
my
time, I
palate.
feel like a lot of fans, because, I mean, if you're a fan of this genre, you're getting a lot right now. And I think a lot of people are so boo-hoo and kind of shrugging meh after seeing movies just because they're comparing it to the other movies they've seen recently. But I mean, you should embrace all of these when they come out. Most of them are pretty damn good. And even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, maybe I'm not as invested in it as you guys are, but I used to read the old Eastman and Laird black and white Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then I saw when they turned it into the colorized Archie Comics version and they had the TV series, and it all seemed like pretty much kid stuff to me. And when the movies came out, they were all right. But I mean, the new ones, holy crap, there's a lot going on in those movies. Why was that last one so terrible? Why do you think it was so terrible?
Let me ask you a question.
I like Bebop, I like Rocksteady. I wasn't bored watching it, so why was that last one
But
so
let me ask you a
sucky?
question. Like, Bebop and Rocksteady were created for this universe, and they were both like guys from the Bronx. And you had Rocksteady with like, "Come on, Tweedles." Why did they have to be an Irish guy? You tell me
cares
why.
if it was?
I care. Let me put it this way: if what's something that you love so much.
B movies.
You love the Toxic Avenger.
I love Toxic Avenger, sure.
Let's do the Toxic Avenger, okay?
Sure, you got a classic trauma movie.
But what we're going to redo in it is you see Toxie for 2 seconds, and then he comes out and he wears a mask, and then at the end of it, they give him a potion and make him look regular.
Okay. I know what you're saying. I know what you're doing here.
because
I
that's exactly what they did in Turtles 2.
I know what you're doing here because I will agree with you. I mean, I hate if I go to a superhero movie and the superhero wasn't wearing the costume that you're grown accustomed to seeing him wearing. Let's put them all in leather suits instead of nice bright colored costumes like they wore in the comic book. Yeah, that bothers me. And I'd hate if they didn't let Toxic Avenger wear his tutu and carry his mop.
I just think like they've got such a great source material. Why do they have to go and reinvent the wheel on some of this stuff? Because and I think Turtles 2 is the proof in the pudding because that thing tanked. I mean, it's going to be out of the top 10 by this weekend.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks after it was released. It's the nail in the coffin for the Michael Bay. Let's face it, Michael Bay is the one who's really ruining my childhood.
Whoa. Bag it up.
Because you love... what's the best Transformers movie?
Transformers 3.
Wrong. The animated Transformers movie.
Oh, see, if you're talking of all times, then yes, animated movie. But you said Michael Bay, and now we're talking live action movies.
For instance, I also believe the best Batman movie, Mask of the Phantasm. That one, I think, gets it perfect with tone, everything like that. And it's an animated movie. Now, I'm not saying that all of them should be animated movies. I'm just saying that those are the people who are so, like, diehard for it. Like, who's excited to see The Killing Joke this summer?
I'm pretty amped up for that.
I'm so stoked. And I just saw it's coming to theaters. Like, you're going to be able to see it in theaters. which is awesome.
You kidding me? Really?
Yeah, right here.
I
in
assume
Fargo,
that would
North
be
Dakota.
I assume that would be a straight to DVD or video on demand.
I think it's got so much buzz about it.
Yeah.
So on a similar note, not to derail the movie conversation because it's still movie related, but we've kind of had this discussion about like comic books and like the Turtles movies and things like that. What happened to like just actually good movies? Like those don't, like, if you want to talk about we're in this golden age of movies, yeah, like the comic books are cool, but like where are the movies like Big Trouble in Little China, like the original Ocean's 11, like Jaws? Where are those awesome movies that are either like based on books or completely original? Like Inception, there's another good movie. Like where are those flicks? You never see those.
Gods of Egypt, that was a good one.
All right, next topic.
What was wrong with Gods of Egypt?
I don't know. Maybe the fact that like every other American who saw that movie agreed with me. Even the Chinese couldn't get behind that, and they like garbage.
Fuck you. Or you know what else was good? We just went and saw Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and that movie was a riot.
That was good. Very, very entertaining. And I'm a huge fan of The Rock. I think that guy is great.
He's got good comedic timing. In that movie, he was very funny.
Yeah.
And I thought it had a great message, an anti-bullying message. You wouldn't have expected that, but it really came out of nowhere. And there is a cameo in there, and it's the guy who bullied him in his past that floored me. And this actor, they picked the perfect actor. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it is so pitch perfect.
It's a great prick.
Such a good job every time. But I liked Central Intelligence. Here's my question. I don't understand why they keep having to go back to the same meat grinder, and it's like they're taking movies that were successful and throwing them in this grinder, and then every time that it comes out, it's more and more mangled. So, like, you talk about Ocean's 11. I really liked the remake of Ocean's 11. I thought Steven Soderbergh did a great job, fun cast, and so they're like, we can't do those movies anymore. What could we do? Oh, I know. Let's shove that same idea back into the meat grinder. This time we'll just do it with women. And so there is a new Ocean's 11 movie coming out where it's Danny Ocean's sister, played by Sandra Bullock, and a team of 11 women who go and pull off a con.
Can I call BS on that one?
You can call BS.
Are you seriously saying
serious.
that's coming? Oh my god!
It's legit. Yeah, like, I didn't know that it was Danny Ocean's sister though.
Yeah, she just got out of prison.
See, I was on board. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll watch it, But then now that you've thrown that angle in there, I'm like, that's just stupid,
right?
Or what about when they do the urban version of a movie like...
like Can't Buy Me Love and then Can't Buy a Thing?
Exactly.
Why do you have to dumb down the language?
Right. Or you got the Honeymooners and it's got Cedric the Entertainer, things like that. I don't understand why you direct it towards a specific race. How is that changing the movie up at all?
You know what the worst is?
What?
I watched the first episode of the new Uncle Buck television series.
Yeah.
Just going to bring that up.
And... Here's my big beef with a lot of these things. I don't understand, like, the same thing goes for the Annie that was released last year. Why do you have to call it Annie? Why do you have to say, we're going to take this idea, but we're going to change it and we're going to make it more urban? Why not just say, hey, this is an idea that's similar to the other idea, but gauged at an entirely different audience. So why didn't they call that, like My Crazy Uncle? Something like that, or like Teddy. Why do they have to make it Uncle Buck? Because it's not Uncle Buck. It's not what you love. It doesn't have John Candy. The dynamic is completely different. It's using an established, recognizable brand and saying, like, let's take a giant dump on it and just churn out whatever crap we can get.
There's somebody at a studio who says, this is the template. We're taking this and we're making it an urban film. I mean, they've done that quite a few times in the past.
Few times.
They even did it to the Leprechaun franchise.
Yeah, they sure did.
Leprechaun into Hood.
Truth be told, that was one of the better entries into the series.
Because that one got a sequel to the sequel.
Yeah.
It did.
Is that Leprechaun in the Hood, too?
Is that Ice-T in that? No,
it was
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, I think it was Snoop.
So it's just it just bothers me. There's so many original creative ideas out there, and nobody wants that because it's not a bankable idea. You don't have a guaranteed audience who's going to go to it.
But you say, where are the great films? There's still movies coming out that are inventive and new, like the Conjuring and things like that. I'd say that's right up there with some of the great horror flicks.
Like funny you mentioned that, because now that that those movies are kind of a hit, and as far as all the haunted house possession movies go, The Conjuring, the first one is actually really good, but now that movie got a spin-off with Annabelle. That creepy doll, and that movie was garbage. And then now
that's getting a sequel too.
Now The Nun from The Conjuring 2 is going to get its own movie. So now they're making their own expanded Conjuring movies. If the third one has a possessed Jack in the Box, I'm fucking tapping out.
Right.
Like, I'm just done.
Everybody wants a universe. They want to have the Hanna-Barbera universe now. Aren't they doing that with spin-off like the Scooby-Doo? And
sure are.
Yeah, like Hasbro now, they want to do their Transformers movies. They want to incorporate Mask and G.I. Joe. And the big rumor going around right now is that the new Transformers movie coming out next year, the last night, is going to be Rom the Space Knight.
Yeah.
And
so
if
don't
that's the
act
case,
like you don't like that, though. You get a little tickle in your pants. You're excited about that.
I got gooey when I heard that Rom the Space Knight, one of the more obscure characters from childhood, is going to be coming into the universe. I was like, all right.
All that stuff you'd love to see on the screen, I'm sure.
Would love it, but would also like to see some truly original stuff. Like, I thought there was a movie, there's a movie that came out last year called The Witch. Did you guys see that? Yeah. That was really good. Superfan Ozzy, that's a movie you need to check out.
Right.
Really good, like, quality movie that a lot of people loved and did very, like, not well at the box office. So, like, I don't know, do you guys think that those kind of movies are just few and far between, and like those days are gone where we're never going to have another billion-dollar franchise that ends up coming from like one original idea?
Oh, I think that we're ready for that, and it's going to have to be something with originality, right? That's the whole idea for me. Is it's got to be originality. It can't be a repackage of something we've already seen. It can't be something that's like spun off from something that already exists there. It can't be a television show that they're trying to turn into a movie series. Give me something original. Where is my new Back to the Future?
I think we're fortunate that we're getting to see, they're trying to give us so much of what we want with, based on comic books we like and things like that. But I think that they're scared to take a chance on anything new because they don't just make a movie for, $15 million anymore. Everything is
$100 million.
Right. I mean, it's ridiculous how much money it costs to make a movie.
And part of that, is their advertising budget.
Right.
Good Lord. Batman versus Superman had one of the largest advertising budgets of all time. And it didn't. And we should have known from the get-go that was part of the problem. Because why are they putting so much money into this? These are two of the most iconic characters in the world.
But it's like they're scared to put out anything that's not based on some kind of an established franchise. That's where you get the Angry Birds movie.
Yep. Would you believe you enjoyed?
Was anybody clamoring for that? I was entertained by the Angry Birds movie. Mm-hmm. It was okay.
Right.
I don't think that 5 years ago when I was dropping a deuce playing Angry Birds on my iPad did I say, God, I hope they make this into a movie sometime.
Such a well-thought-out plot line.
I wish there was a backstory behind why these flying pigs and these birds, what's going on here?
I saw Finding Dory this weekend, and it's got great reviews, and I truly believe that Pixar has become the emperor's new clothes of movie studios, because I thought Brave was a piece of crap. Cars 2 was garbage, and this movie, while entertaining and sweet at moments, has the problem of there's nothing. No joke, in the first 5 minutes, it's like, hey, this is what we did in the last film. I miss my parents. Boom, go. There's no build up to why she wants to find her parents or anything like that.
How does she remember her parents?
She has these weird flashbacks.
Okay.
So really, she's having shroom flashbacks. She's she did too much ecstasy, and they rely so much on the fact that when they have flashbacks, she's a little tiny fish. She's got a little tiny fish voice. So cute. Yeah, and that's what people are going off of. But I felt this one was too all over the place and madcap. And
you already went and saw it?
I went and saw it the same day we saw Central Intelligence.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You made a special effort to go see Finding Dory?
I had someone call me and said, I'll give you a free movie ticket if you go see Finding Dory with me. And I said, sold. Done. No problem. Because I had the worst day, and we went and saw an 11:30 at night showing of it.
Yep.
And I was ready to sit in an air-conditioned theater. And I had a kid who kept touching my leg through the whole movie, and I finally told like the parent, I'm like, your son keeps touching my leg, and they're like, you're touching my son's leg, and I was like, no, great. This is how the day's gonna end. Is I'm gonna have to explain in the back of a squad car. But I don't think that like even Pixar's putting out the same quality of stuff that they used to be putting out. They used to focus so much on story. And we're just not getting that as much. Like, a lot of people loved Inside Out. I was middle of the ground on Inside Out.
I mean, they used to, studios would take a chance on putting out even B-like movies when I was in high school. Last night, we just watched Return of the Living Dead again. And I remembered seeing that in the theater when I was 14, 15 years old. Hilarious movie. I don't know if that type of movie would come out today. And I remember seeing like Reform School Girls in the theater when I was young. There's no studios taking a chance and putting out something like that anymore.
Nobody's even making, like, the year I graduated from high school was the year Euro Trip came out.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember
sex comedies.
Yeah. Or Road Trip, even for that matter, is a movie that I have fond memories of sneaking into a theater to see because I was too young at the time.
Yeah, that's I remember going to telling my folks I was going to a different movie and then sneaking in to see Revenge of the Nerds. We did that same scam with, what's Up the Creek?
Up the Creek.
Up the Creek. It's like, yeah, we're going to go see the new whatever animated movie was. And then we went and saw Up the Creek.
That was one of the best titty comedies
it was.
of the 80s.
Do you guys feel that nowadays studios rely so much on the bankability of the star as well? Being like, oh, well, we're going to put Ben Affleck in as Batman, and that'll make people...
we'll
get all the
so.
Affleck fans.
I disagree.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Yeah, one of them's right here, Ozzy. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Affleck is not quite, but will be a national treasure one day.
Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo.
Yo!
Because here's my case. Right before I came here, I was watching a little bit of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Came out last summer. Did anyone else see that?
Which was garbage.
Right, exactly. And Armie Hammer, is the star of that movie. And for the second summer in a row, Armie Hammer has put out just a big flopping turd of a movie.
Lone Ranger was the other one, right?
Yep. And did you see Lone Ranger?
No, I didn't bother.
Okay. I want you to see it. And if you decide that you like it, I'm just going to...
Then we're done.
Stop this podcast.
We are done.
The podcast is over.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they keep putting him in movies to pretty much play the same character over and over again. Because
Fuck is Armie Hammer? I've never even heard of this
See,
guy.
that's the thing. That's the thing right there. You have no idea.
That needs to be the first official Trigger Warning Fun Time podcast T-shirt. Who the fuck is Armie Hammer?
Is that made up or what?
No,
that's a real dude.
He's a real
That's his
person.
name.
That's
His
Armie Hammer. Yeah,
actor name.
yeah. Armie, Armie.
So he's been in The Lone Ranger, and he's been in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yep, and he's been in other stuff too. I can't off the top of my head.
He was in The Social Network.
Yeah, he played the twins, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He played the twins, the
Right.
Winklevoss twins.
Yep.
He's the baking soda guy, right?
Yeah. Listen, Leon, we need to have your movie theater name today. What are you thinking? Plate, empty plate. Nope, that's not gonna work. Clorox bleach.
Nope.
Are you just looking at things? Arm and Hammer. Did you say Armie Hammer? I did.
Bingo.
Bingo. You're gonna be a star. Let me get Disney on the line. Maybe Johnny Depp will finally make that Lone Ranger movie.
Armie Hammer. Wow.
But to your question, no, I don't think that they're relying on stars really at all because you look at a movie like Batman v Superman. I think that Affleck was thrown in there to kind of switch it up a little bit. They wanted to go for that older kind of Batman, and Affleck over the last couple years has been more on the directing side. They haven't really put him on the star path. And then Henry Cavill, when he was cast as Superman, everyone's like, who the hell is this guy? Right. But I think Marvel does that where they get kind of like those mid-level kind of actors, but I don't think they get the superstars in there. Like, we'll never, unfortunately, and this pains me, that we'll never see a Fantastic Four movie with George Clooney as Mr. Fantastic.
Yep. That pains you?
That pains me. Like, how awesome would that be? I'll also probably never see a good cinematic Doctor Doom, and that fucks with my head, too. So,
and I think you're right. You look at it now, and Robert Downey Jr. is the highest paid box office star there is, but when they cast him as Iron Man, he wasn't that big at the time.
No.
In fact,
he was on his way back up.
But he'd kind of been struggling with all of his drug problems, and people thought, oh, that's a perfect guy to play Tony Stark, really, a guy who's kind of battling his addictions, and you could kind of identify and actually see him in the role.
And
boy, did that take take off.
You know who took a big chance on Robert Downey Jr., and thank God he did, because this was one of my favorite movies from the last decade. Shane Black took a chance on him for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, yeah.
I loved Kiss Kiss. I watch it every Christmas.
That's a fun
it's
movie.
Such a great Christmas movie.
So-
All of Shane Black's movies are great Christmas movies.
Nope, that's a lie. The Nice Guys was a piece of shit.
What?
Yep, it
no,
was a piece of garbage.
Don't tell me that.
There was no chemistry between those two guys, and I'm watching Ryan Gosling the whole time, and I'm like, this was obviously written for like Ryan Reynolds and
not Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. The madcap mystery of it doesn't work, and so I'm very loyal to directors, and Shane Black is one of those people I am extremely loyal to, and unfortunately, either he missed the boat on this one, or the studio got in and was like, well, we got Russell Crowe in this thing. We got to chop it up a little bit and make it something different.
It's too bad. Nobody bats 1,000, though.
That's right. Exactly. Nobody has all hits except for Joe Dante. Joe Dante has not had a single bad movie yet.
He does have a lot of quality films out there.
He does. And so that's why I'm wondering why the comic book movies that are coming out, why are we not giving them to some of those 80s visionaries who could do something amazing with them? Like the Joe Dantes or even Chris Columbus, for that matter. He'd make a more family-friendly superhero movie, which I don't think is a horrible idea.
Do you trust who they gave the directorial reins to the new Ghostbusters to?
Paul Feig?
Yeah.
I like Paul Feig a lot. And
So what are your hopes for the new Ghostbusters?
They are very low.
See, and that's another thing. Going back to what we started the show with, I saw the trailer for that. How many times have they retooled that trailer to try and satisfy people and say, no, look, no, see, it's good, look. And when I watched the trailer, I think it's got all the everything that I want to see in a Ghostbusters movie. What the fuck is wrong with everybody?
They just retooled the poster too, and put the
say it's classic.
Put Kevin right in the front and center of that poster.
You like him in the trailer? Great. He's the focal point of the poster now.
Do you think you're going to go into that movie with those? You have lower expectations for it, so you think the movie's going to turn out better for you, or worse because you're going into it with more jaded?
I am very good at going in with an open mind. I mean, I went and saw Malibu's Most Wanted.
What the fuck?
I paid money to see that, and it's the only movie I have ever walked out of in my history of movies. And I turned to the audience and I said, "What the fuck are you guys sticking around here for? This movie is awful.
I'm leading the exit. Everybody follow me."
And they gave me my money back for it.
Oh wow!
Like after an hour. So the new Ghostbusters. Here's my problem. So they've retooled this trailer over and over and over again, and now they're bending to fan demand, right? But who are they making this movie for is my question. Are they making it for fans of the original? Because that's a lose-lose right there. You know, they're never going to be satisfied because they, in their mind, the Ghostbusters, was an Ivan Reitman film.
Right, and it's Bill Murray and
Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, and
Harold Ramis.
And so this new one is always going to be met with a jaded sense. So
be the bastard stepchild.
Maybe they're like, okay, so let's retool this trailer and let's forget this 30 years ago, For Friends Save New York, and let's push it like this is a fun female comedy, right? And then they're watching it and they're like, yeah, it's a fun female comedy, but it's about like ghosts and stuff like that. That's a movie my husband loves. And so then they lose it from that. Yesterday was the nail in the coffin, though. I saw the new trailer to Ghostbusters, or on Friday, at Finding Dory, and I heard the first bit of the new Ghostbusters theme that will be in there from Fall Out Boy and Missy Elliott, and I hate it.
Oh, no.
I hate it.
Well, we're going to have a chance to see that. How soon is that coming out? We're a couple
July,
of weeks.
like 15.
Yeah, middle of July.
Couple of weeks away from it. We'll have a review of that. I think we've given you plenty to chew on this podcast, so I think we're going to have to wrap things up. We're running out of time.
Let's do it.
Everybody bid you a fond adieu.
Bye.
Later.
Toodles.
Adios. Buenos knockers. Arrivederci.
Somehow I can't stop myself from wanting to hear it.